I got two great stories to share with you, and one of them has to do with the SEC dropping a case. I told you so. The market's dumping from the highs of the Trump pump. We're also going to talk XRP price and...
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
And who doesn't like doggies in the intro? I've got Lucas with me, his brother Vader, who's even bigger. Oh, hi, buddy. I got Leia with me. Come here, sweetheart. I got Leia coming in, the white one, and I got Ray coming in. Oh, come here, sweetheart. Come here, Ray. Yeah, come on up. I know you're a big girl. It's hard for you to get up. And who doesn't like doggy content? Well, I'll tell you what I don't like. That's red on the screen. But the SEC got rid of the KRAKEN case without any... Well, I know. Before we get into news, your comments come first. Yes, because you, the viewer, matter most. R. Schmidt, channel member, dropping support on the channel. Thank you much. This is thanks. Great news and cheers. Yeah, I've got great news because we know what happens to the KRAKEN case is also then going to happen to the Ripple case. And why did KRAKEN happen first? Because their deadline was first. I told you so. We've got confirmation, but... oh, I wish we were getting better price action rather than dealing with poopy macros. David Craigie says, thank you for touching on the Pi network. I feel heard. This channel has quickly become my favorite crypto channel. Well, thank you very much, David. Yeah, I try to bring up news from like a wide spectrum of stuff, right? Naughty, relevant, spicy, making money. Yeah, that's what I try to cover, crypto news. We'll talk XRP price at the end because... oh, are we about to erase all the gains from the Trump pump? Ticey Griffin dropping support on the channel. Well, says Klaus is a world-class athlete. I don't know about that. I am fairly decent as an endurance runner, but I am not world-class. Professional entertainer, reporter, committed husband, and father, and a real pleasant son of a bitch. Shoot you. Well, thank you very much, sir. I agree with all that except for the world-class athlete part. Averaged at best, baby. Bitcoin sitting at 88,235. I was nervous seeing Bitcoin get to that 90,000 and now breaching it. That's got me concerned because that was one of the big key levels we were looking at was BTC holding on to 90,000. But now look at this. Pulling back from their highs, XRP 254, ETH 221, both down 10%. XLM 10% from their highs. ADA down 10. Sold pretty much everything down 10% for the highs. And it has to do with this poop sandwich up on the screen, which has this poop sandwich attached to it. But first, the good news. See, I'm going to give you the good news first, then I'm going to give you the bad news last. Right? I'm going to kind of lube you up a little bit before I stick it to you. U.S. lawmakers launch a crypto caucus in Congress. This is good. A new crypto voting bloc was formed in Congress on Monday. That's today. That's breaking news. That's why you hit the subscribe button. Tom Emmer, House Republican Majority Whip, and Richie Torres, a Democrat, awesome, bipartisan, have teamed up to launch the Congressional Crypto Caucus, a bipartisan group focused on pushing crypto legislation through the House. Yes, this is good. Both sides of the aisle. The caucus is separate from the Congressional Blockchain Caucus, which started in 2017, and instead functions as a coordinated voting force to pass bills in related to crypto rights. This is another sign that crypto is gaining strength. Yes, Klaus, this sucks because we're losing our gains. Yes, I understand that. That's the poop sandwich of macros and institutional money flowing out. But the good news is now we're getting closer to getting regs and stuff done. Eleanor Tourette dropping the lead on this. Seriously, Homegirl is going to be linked down below, along with all the other articles. So Scoop, House Republican, Democrat, both teaming up to launch Congressional Crypto Congress. Emmer tells me the caucus was formed in response to the millions of U.S. voters that took to the ballot box in November to vote for candidates that would prioritize the advancement of digital assets. This is extremely important. This is the power of voting now coming to fruition with even more impact, with impact down the road. So it wasn't just effective during the voting season as something that was an important topic to people, but you're seeing it now shape politics. The caucus serves as an ideological, unified, nonpartisan group of members that can quickly mobilize to support key digital asset initiatives in Congress. That's from Emmer. Great news. I'm going to lube you up a little bit more, and then we're going to talk bad news, okay? Remember, that's my job. Bring you the news, good or bad, happy or sad, so that you can make the best decision. KRAKEN says the SEC is set to dismiss politically motivated lawsuit against crypto exchange. Oh. Because whatever happens to KRAKEN is going to happen to Ripple. See, I brought that up in the beginning. I like really lubed you up in the beginning. Today marks a pivotal moment for KRAKEN. The SEC staff has agreed in principle to dismiss the lawsuit in KRAKEN with prejudice, with no admission of wrongdoing, no penalties paid, and no changes to our business. That is effing awesome. Remember, the SEC went after KRAKEN in November 2023, accusing the money company of operating without a broker-dealer exchange, clearing agency, no registration, no paperwork, basically no documentados. But now the SEC bailed. Why? Because the KRAKEN case deadline was coming up in less than a month. Ripple's is 2 weeks after that. So we are right there. It is right down the pipe. I am looking at the pipe and I see the light at the end of the tunnel with the SEC. So then, not only did we give Gensler a big FU on the way out, we could give a big FU to the SEC as a whole from the previous regime by saying, look, now we're finally unwinding the bullshit that you did to us. By the way, my morning video about Operation Choke Point 2.0, yeah, another example of how they tried to destroy crypto. This is just disgusting. Okay, so now let's get to the bad news, okay? I lubed you up, hopefully got you to sub by now. Now that you've subbed, let's see what happens when I bring the bad stuff, okay? XRP dips 10% despite U.S. crypto reserve inclusion. Okay, so the Trump pump, we've seen this now several times. We saw it at the beginning of the election. We saw it when Gensler announced the resignation, basically saying, yeah, I know Trump is going to get rid of me, so I might as well just resign, you know, the day that he takes office. Cool. And then we see again when XRP is specifically mentioned. Now, that is the push again on some news that hasn't materialized yet because we still don't have the official reserve yet, right? We don't have the assets in there. We don't know how they're going to buy it. Hopefully it's not over the counter. Hopefully they buy it from exchanges. That would be freaking awesome. We got to get all these details, okay? So a lot of this is good news, but it hasn't hit the ground yet. So that hasn't hit the ground yet is touching this nasty thing up on the screen. This is not Jumblies. This is not Jumblies, okay? This is 4 months in a row with inflation accelerating. It's always been going up, but now it's going up faster. Not good, girlfriend. Mixed with this shitstorm. You see all these bars that are above the $0 mark. The $0 mark's right here on the screen. Right here up in the middle. You see all these bars above that? That's money coming into the crypto market from institutional players that are loving to gobble up the ETFs. Loving this action. All of a sudden you notice the biggest down bar, period. That is the market taking an absolute shit because inflation numbers are getting worse. And when inflation numbers are getting worse, it's not just the United States that pauses the rate cuts. It is a ton of effing countries out there. So we're watching inflation and poop macros go head to head against Trump and his crypto push. Now, what's very interesting about this is if you zoom in a little bit further on this chart, look at the 4 week. You can see we still had some good inflows. We went neutral for a couple weeks with some negative, and then we went really hardcore negative at the end of February. So we got to start seeing what the Trump effect does. You can see right here, there's some positive inflows for BTC, 94 million as of now. Now, that's not much. That's not much. But it's good. Hopefully that trend stops. So we're going to keep an eye on this macro. XRP right now sitting at 251. Volume absolutely nuts right now. Now 250. Volume absolutely nuts at 14 billion in the last 24 hours. So again, exchanges are making the money. Let's go to the candlesticks because I think a lot of us are thinking, right? We don't want to think it too loudly, right? Because we don't want to jinx ourselves, but we don't want to stick our heads up our butts either, okay? Here's the move. Started off at 222. We got to a high at 299. They rejected the shit out of it at $3. And it was like, you could tell that was it. It was 299.9. Yeah, that's like, bam, there you go. Okay. Think about that move from 222, 299. So about what, 75 cents. We've already eroded more than half of that move in less than like a day. Yeah, in less than a day. That is not good. The earlier bump up we saw here, we just went right through that. This double that we tried to hold right here, we just pushed right through that on this candlestick right here. And these are the 15-minute ones. This is how recent the news is for you. This is hot. That's why you hit the notification bell so you see this stuff right away. Because the faster you see this, the faster you're in the know. Because remember, that's my job. Scrub all the news for you because you don't have the time to do this. You've got work. You've got commitments. You've got to answer your wife's naughty Snapchat. She still hasn't answered mine. I send it. I'm putting the vibe out, right? I'm putting the vibe. I'm showing it. I'm like, hey, check it out. But right now, if the macros keep staying ugly, and they are ugly, rising inflation, institutional money pouring out at an insane level, that is gonna really mess with our Tea Party. And what sucks is we are well beyond 50% of this pulled back from the highs of 3. Well beyond that already from where we originally started the move. So we got to start thinking they need to come up with something juicy on March 7th, which is the next meeting, right? That's the big crypto meeting we're going to have. We got to start getting details. Hey, are you buying it on the exchanges? If you're buying it OTC and this is benefiting just Ripple, then that is a massive FU to the XRP holders. We want to see this bought on the open exchange. And I'm not just talking about XP. I'm talking about Sol. I'm talking about BTC. I'm talking about ETH. I'm talking about ADA. I want all of that purchased in the open market like you and I do. Otherwise, retail is getting screwed. So I want to get those deets, and as soon as I get them, I'm going to share them with you. But we're paying attention to this because right now, XRP at 250, if we push through that and hold through that, we got a really solid chance of going right back down to that 220 mark. And all of a sudden, we start getting back to the pumps and dumps bullshit that we were dealing with in 2023 and the first 3 quarters of 2024. The good news is still there. Crypto caucus being formed, bipartisan. Fucking awesome. KRAKEN case being dismissed, awesome, because we know Ripple is going to be next. And I'm going to be so glad to share that story with you. But surrounding that is 2 pieces of bread which are part of the poop sandwich. So it's like we got steak in the middle and we got like moldy bread on the outside. That's the news today. All right, careful. So it's definitely a mixed bag of news. And so that makes CPI data even more important, all right? And I believe that's coming out on the 13th. CPI data, inflation being bad, ETF by the bigs, the outflows, we can watch that. We can watch that on a daily basis. So we do have a few big things coming up. March 7th is coming up. That's the big crypto meeting. We've got quite a few things. I just hope we don't lose it all by the time we get there. I hope we're not in a downward spiral when we get the SEC Ripple case announcement. Man, the dogs have been clingy today. I don't know. I'll end this video like I guess on a personal note, right? Let's put the news to the side. I'll just share with you how I personally feel. I'm excited with some of the SEC stuff. You know, by now we're all like, okay, we get it. They're going to be throwing every case out. That's awesome. The government's a bit slow for my taste. The bearish stuff with inflation is obviously bad. We see it. We're paying a lot for eggs and for other food items. Meat is still expensive. I mean, stuff is just more than it has been. And that's affecting retail and affecting the consumer. And so when you see retail and the consumer affected, and then you see institutional money bailing out of crypto, you're like, yo, that's a double poop sandwich. So it just bums me out that we get a specific mention, right? And that specific mention takes us from 222 to 299. And that's good, but you would have thought it would have done more. You know, I mean, I'm just crossing my fingers right now going, yo, please don't buy this shit over the counter. Please don't fucking do it, man. Because if that's the case, then that'd be a big letdown in my opinion. I'd be really, really let down with that. So, yeah, I'm going to keep my ears to it, you know, keep my eyes open. I'm excited because of the mention, but then, like, if we lose all the gains from it, that's kind of not too cool. Don't get me wrong, it's still good news in the future. I still think the positive news definitely outweighs the bad, but it's just that inflation poop sandwich, you know, is just being problematic. And the lack of the market being able to hold some of these gains has been just somewhat concerning. So, yep, that's my take on it. Vader, you want to do an outro with me? Of course you do, because you're clingy and you like attention. Come on up, buddy. And you're also a big boy. Yeah. All right, everyone. I am going to do some stretching, play with the dogs, and what? Chew bitches.